Hey, what's up guys? This is T-Bone here. Welcome back to another episode playing Legendary Game of Heroes. It is now January 1st, 2020, and I just wanted to wish everybody a very happy new year. Now, in my last stream, one of the things I had mentioned was potentially changing up the format of the content I do create for Legendary. And one of the things that I've been thinking about is how effective I am in terms of previewing the event as well as talking about the cards. And so given the timing of the packs and also sort of thinking about the possibility of using non-event cards for the deck, I'm thinking about maybe just starting with some shorter videos to start instead of streaming it, and then we can have a more comprehensive streams where we discuss deck ideas maybe on a different day, potentially Thursdays. Anyways, leave a comment below and let me know what you think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple of things. The first thing I'm going to do is talk about the cards for the particular event and also the cards that you can collect to try and get the ultimate form. And then I'm going to talk about some other cards that you could potentially use instead of the event cards here. And then I'm also going to try to open a couple of the packs here, and I'm going to talk to you about my personal strategy as a free-to-play player, how I'm going to approach it. So we're going to start with the support card here, Uplifted Ices. Now this card is going to have the same skill as a Generation 2 counterpart, which I will also show later in the video. But this is a Warrior Noble Killer card, and what this will do is it will apply a status called Exalted, or a battle skill called Exalted, to an additional Noble Killer, and then for every 100 Noble Killer intensity, it will apply it to one additional hero. So at 400 Noble Intensity, you will be able to apply it to all of your team, and what they will do is they will destroy non-earth gems, only 6 of them at a time, and it will heal for 200% of the recovery. And if you take a look, this is a warrior card, so the recovery value isn't actually very high, so the heal isn't going to be great. And so this card can be counted as a gem destroyer as well as a healer, but in Generation 2, when this card was available, it wasn't a great card. It wasn't a great healer, and it wasn't a great gem destroyer, and it can actually sort of really disrupt the flow of the game because your gems are constantly getting destroyed as you attack. And so this wasn't actually a card that was used very much. The only good thing that's got going for it is that this has a 400% Noble Killer bonus, and so if you wanted to use this card, you would actually just want to use it as a leader because it does provide 300% damage and 600 health. But I am going to talk about situations where you want to use this card as a leader and situations where you don't. So that is the support card, and then we're going to move on to the ultra rare card, which is Mecha Nubes. So Mecha Nubes is the ultra rare card, and this card skill is one that was very popular back in the day, especially for longer fights such as like, you know, the gold trial bosses. And the reason for that is because what this will do is it'll destroy all non-earth gems, and then it will spawn 4 power gem 3s, and then for every 100 noble intensity killer intensity, it will actually create 2 more. So this was sort of where Generation 2 was sort of branching out in terms of generating more power gems based on 100 killer intensity or 100 intensity or higher. And so given that it's the start of our events with these killer intensity relics, etc., it's going to be very slow to begin with. So now that this is only the first event ever with the Earth, with the Noble in Earth event, where we have these intensities, it's going to be very, very slow for most of us to build up 100 noble killer intensity, and so expecting it to fill up the board with just a single ultra rare card is going to be difficult. This will become easier later on as you collect more relics and more cards that can generate the intensity for you, but right now it is going to be slow, and it isn't going to be it's not going to be as powerful as you think it is, except it has an 800% killer bonus, so this card by itself is going to deal quite a bit of damage because of it, but not because of the skill itself. The skill is actually going to feel a little underwhelming at the beginning, but if you can build up the intensity, then this card is capable of filling up the board every 2 turns. And this was also a card that was used heavily in guild versus guild fights. And so we can also take a look at the passive. So the passive ability will also increase. Basically, what it will do is It will heal 100% for every 15 stacks of the Earth gem fall. So basically, as the gem is falling, it's going to increase the amount of heal. So this is another heal card, and it will actually heal better than the support card as time goes on, as you build up more intensity. Finally, we're going to take a look at the event card, which is Star-Blessed Feral. So Star-Blessed Feral has the skill that increases the gemfall. So this is a card that will actually increase the Earth gemfall by 60 gems. That means it's guaranteed to drop Earth gems for the next 60 gems that that falls. So this works really well with a card that destroys the board, such as the Mecha Nubes. And what it will do, it also has a 2-turn cooldown, so this card is a very strong card. It works really well in a lot of situations. And what it does is it basically allows you to always fill up the battle skills of any turn delay cards or immunity cards that require a high number of gems. And what it'll do is it will also increase the attack of all noble killer heroes by 20% for every 5 Earth gemfall stacks. Now this can be applied to this actually can be applied to a Slayer card as well. Keep in mind that this is increasing attack of all noble killers, so it doesn't matter whether it's Commander or whether it's Slayer. So this card has a lot of utility, and this card can be very useful to boost attacks. As a noble killer card, it only increases by 400%, same the support card rather than the ultra rare card. So it's going to deal less damage overall than the ultra rare card. Finally, we have the ultimate form, Elevated Guardians. If you are able to get this card, it is a very good card because it will destroy gems. It will spawn 5 power gem force, and it will also create 3 for every 100 noble killer intensity. So it is much more efficient at creating power gems than the ultra rare card. It also has a 2-turn cooldown, so it will be very useful. So having the ultra rare card plus the ultimate form is going to make it that much more powerful, because you're combining both of those. You're combining both skills together, and you're going to generate a lot more power gems this way. And then it has its own passive ability that will also spawn additional power gems and then also heal for every 15 stacks. Now it doesn't actually have the skill to boost the attack of the cards that I would have expected from the event card. So I'm a little surprised to see that there is no battle skill that also increases the attack. Given that this is a really difficult to get card, I would have expected it to be more powerful. It does have 100% noble killer bonus, and like I said, I would have expected to also increase the sort of attack of all noble killers. But as it is unique to just the event card. And so we also have 3 other cards that you need to collect. And this is the Undying Green Knight, which is an event card. The Coco Pally card is a support card. And then finally, we have Devoted Ferryman as the ultra rare card. And these are the 3 that you need to collect. Now, whether or not you should go for this deck, that's usually the question that people have. And my thought process is that the event card actually is a card that will have good utility for future events. As I mentioned, it is a card that a lot of people would use actually in Guild versus Guild. Back in the day when we were using Generation 2 cards, this card was used often. You pair it up with a immunity card or a turn delay card, and you could usually guarantee to fill up the board, and also you could easily activate the turn delay cards every single turn. And so this card is actually very popular. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to use it if you're able to get it. Now, in terms of investment, like I said before, I don't believe in going all the way up to tier 6 for it. So hopefully you can collect it from the 25% chance hero, because you can get it once you have met this requirement of having your support card to 6 stars plus all of the evolution tokens and 12 million in trophies. And in terms of the ultra rare card, this is a card where I feel that even if you do get it, I don't see this being a card that you would use outside of the event that often, because it only applies in noble killer. You need the noble killer intensity, so you're not going to use this intensity in many other situations. The best thing that you'll be using this for would be for gem destroy, and there are a lot of other cards that destroys non-earth gems that I think are going to be equivalent. And so this card isn't, in my opinion, a card that is a must chase, only that it is a card that you need to have in order to get the ultimate form. And so as far as the deck itself, I think that once you have the full deck, then you should be fine. You should have no problems defeating the bosses. But if you have just the support card, it's going to be a lot more difficult, I think. And so some of the other things that I would like to sort of showcase is what are some of the other options that you could go with. And so if you take a look at the fact that it is a noble intensity card, what you want to do is you want to look at the Slayer deck. So there is a Slayer deck that also has the Noble Killer bonus, and that is the United Taurus deck. And so if you have the United Taurus, this also has a very similar ability in that it also destroys non-earth gems. And so if you do have the event card, if you do have the Starblessed Feral, it works really well with this deck because you could use it and you could basically fill up the board with gems, and then what this card will do is this card will actually create more power gems because there's more gems on the board, and then the Striped Rogue will again create more power gems, and you'll be able to fill up the board easily with this. And because it's also Noble Killer bonus, if you have this card already, then you should have no problems in this event. And so what I would recommend in this case is to go with if you have the Starblessed Feral, you should use it, but you shouldn't use it as a leader. Instead, what I think you should do is you should use the support card as a leader, because you're going to gain the 300% and damage and 600% health for all Noble Killers. Add Starblessed Feral to the deck, and then you could now add those other 3 Slayer cards. Any of the 3, you could add a United Taurus, you can put in a Striped Rogue, and if you have any other version of the cards, you can choose to put in Smith, or you can put in simply another support card from this event to deal more damage. But in my opinion, if you have the United Taurus already, you already are getting the 400% Noble Killer bonus, and you should just put in another Slayer card so that you can deal more damage. Because you can, well, actually I take it back, because all the cards will have 400% damage, I think that adding another commander in this case would actually be better. So I would recommend 2 support, basically 2 support card, 1 event card if you can, and then United Taurus, and then Striped Rogue. That will be, in my opinion, the ideal setup to gain the maximum amount of damage. Because this card already has the 400%, it's not going to deal less damage. What you want to do is you want to take advantage of the power gems that the United Taurus and Striped Rogue can offer you. And so I think that would be the best setup there. Some other cards that I also showed you here. This is the event where we saw the same battle skill. So you can take a look at the Sugar Sniper, which is the support card, and this is it's the same thing. It applies a Sweet Tooth to one corrupt hero, and then basically destroys 6 non-earth gems, etc., etc., etc. And then you also have the Jin Jombre, which was the Master Collection card at the time, with the same skill that does the increases the gem fall by 60 gems. And then finally the ultra rare card Gretel Sniping Falconer, that is the one that destroys gems and also creates power gems. So if you don't have the event card, you could use Jinjombre if you wanted to for the gem destroy. Although if you already have United Taurus, I would recommend that over Jinjombre. So Jinjombre is not for gem destroy, it's for the gem fall, and you can use Gretel Sniping Falconer for gem destroy if you wanted to. There are other cards as well that can use it, but I would say that in this case, you'll only want to use it if you don't have any other options, and you want to use these cards for the commander bonus. But in my opinion, it is better to go with the support cards from this event and then to fill in United Taurus. If you don't have United Taurus, then you could also use then these cards are possible if you have them. These are the cards that I actually got these cards when I opened when I used the holiday tokens, the Bazaar, and I opened them and I got this through the 500 coin tokens. And so that's how I managed to get this card, and I can use this in the deck as well. So I'm going to have other options for it. And so that is sort of like, how I feel about the deck itself. And in terms of how you should choose to open the decks here. So take a look at your collection. That will be the first thing. So if you're a newer player, this is how you should think about it, because you need multiple cards in order to really go for something. If you wanted to get any of the collection cards that's needed, Devoted Ferryman, or if you needed Undying Green Knight, or Kokopelli, these cards are all available as part of the collection. But it is a lot harder to get the collection, so it's going to be difficult to determine whether you'll get it or not. But let's say you have all 3 of the collection heroes. Then the first thing you should try and see is if you're able to get the ultra rare card in a reasonable tier if you choose to go after it. This is the card that doesn't have a guarantee. And so if you don't pull this, then it can become very expensive to get. I personally think that having the Start Blessed Feral is a good option. So actually going for a couple of tiers here isn't a bad idea either. So for me, given that I am missing the Devoted Ferryman and I need the ultra rare card and the event card, it's unlikely that I will get the pack. So what I plan to do is I plan to open a couple of tiers here so that I could try and see if I can get them. But ultimately, what I will do is I will wait until I can open the collection and then make my decisions if I want to go further. So I do have 12,000 gems right now. In the spirit of sort of saying what I sort of going after the same method that I was talking about, I'm going to go at least 2 tiers here so I can get a support card, and then I'll open a couple of tiers and see if I can get lucky with the event card. So let's go and pull this as a way to end our video. All right, so we'll go ahead and open up a couple tiers right now. So tier 1. Now I also don't have VIP, and so I'm going to be pulling 1 less card than than I would if I had actually VIP there. And so let's see, we did get 1700 support coin, evolution coins, so that's good. These tokens, they are all RNG based, so it's hard to tell how many we will get each time, but I do have 12 spins, so that means it's basically all of them rolled into one. So the amount that you see is actually a combination of all of those rolls. So it can include some that has like the 25 that we see in each pull. So we're hoping for as much as we can in these pulls here. So let's go tier 2. This is where we're gonna get a support card. I'm only getting this because I think that it will be helpful for my overall deck. And so this is the guaranteed support card, and I have 7,850. So that was a good pull for the ultra coin, right? But 2,400 only for the support coin. So I'm not going to be able to level it to 6 stars just yet until I get them from the collections. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the main pack, and I will pull a couple of tiers just to see what I can get. So let's go and take a look here. Although it's very unlikely that I'll be able to get them within the first couple of tiers, but we will see. I did see a couple of screenshots going around. Some people were able to pull it on tier 1, so congratulations to you that managed to do that. And so we'll go to tier 2, and we will see if I can get that here. So again, no event card here. Now this is sort of the time now I have to sort of think about, is it worth it to go further? Personally, I don't think it is, just because if you take a look at the further tiers, I mean, we do get 500 gems back, so that is basically equivalent to spending another 620 gems. You do get a commander at 4 stars, and then you do get 2 heroes, so there's 2 possibilities to get the event card. Normally I would go to tier 3 for another 600 gems. I guess I'll do that. I'll do that for another 600 gems. But this is as far as I will go. And then if I don't get it here, which I don't, then I'm just gonna have to depend on luck, basically. So basically at this point, what's guaranteed is I'm not going to be able to get the ultimate form. And so what that means is I'm going to I would like to pull the Start Blessed Feral from the collection card, from the collection, 25% collection there. And if I can, then I'll be able to use him as well as 2 support cards. Then I will have a United Taurus as well as the striped the striped rogue, that would be my option. And if I don't, then that means I'll just have 2 support cards. Then I'll just add in either Smith, or I might even put in Ginjombre for the additional Genfall. We'll see. There are, like I said, there are other options, and I will explore them, and I will talk about them more in the upcoming stream. So that's all for today's video in terms of the deck preview. In terms of the event itself, what I see is that the evolution coins hasn't gone away, and so that's something that again, not very happy about that. Don't forget to open your gifts today. We have core gift as well as 6-star essences. We do get 3 of them, and so I got fire as well as dark and also earth, so that can be useful. But in terms of like the event itself, it doesn't look like anything has changed. I haven't seen any news that talks about any changes to the event itself. So it looks like everything's going to be the same. Relic pack will be available tomorrow. And so, but one thing that is nice before I go, if you had a Dark Slayer card that was not evolvable, it is now evolvable without any of the tokens. So it looks like after the event, they've removed the requirement of using evolution tokens. So you can at least still use gold to evolve them if you needed to. So how do I feel about it? I think that is at least one good thing. Although I wish that they would just remove the evolution coins from the event itself, because that would have been easier to evolve. But what we'll do is we will talk about we'll talk more about that during the stream. For now, hopefully this is helpful for you, and let me know what if you have any questions or any comments below. Put them down in the comments below. Let me know what your feedback is, and I look forward to chatting with you in my upcoming stream. So thank you very much for your time. I'll see you later. Take care.